We're standing in front of a drainage plow here that we're doing a job with for my nephew currently, and it's an interesting machine. The chassis it's on is a Caterpillar D8 tractor, and my father bought it in about 1964. It would have only been 10 or 11 years old at that point, and he used it as a bulldozer for many years. And then in later years he bought some farms and they needed drainage pipe installed in them, and he was quite a blacksmith, so he built this drainage plow that's on this tractor just about 48 years ago right now. He was working hard all one winter building this drainage plow, and it was quite successful. We've used it off and on over the last 48 years, and here we are, we're still using it. And it's yesterday's story regarding drainage plows. There's some very, very good machines on the market now that would do more work than this one will. But this machine is still relevant in as much as you can still go out and put a truckload of pipe in with it. We control the grade with a laser beam, and it does a good job for a very, very old piece of equipment. We're gonna start it in a minute here, and it's a cool morning here, and it's been repowered. The Caterpillar engine was taken out years ago, and a 671 Detroit diesel with a 15-speed Road Ranger, essentially a truck power unit, was put in it, and that gave it lots of really slow gears because it's still got the bulldozer transmission. So things are pulling hard, you can put her down on a low gear and you can go really, really slow if you need to. As you see, this is a cable machine. There's a 2-drum cable control at the back of the bulldozer, and we use one cable to lift the plow out of the ground at the back, and the other one we raise and lower the front end here. So the plow is lowered into the ground, and it sits on the ground. You gotta have good solid soil like we do here, and then the grade is controlled not by raising and lowering the plow at the back of the machine. It's raised and lowered by raising and lowering the front end of it here. So if you're a little low, you raise this up, and then the plow skis up a little bit to find grade again, and that's how it makes for a very accurate grade control system, because a foot of travel here is just fractions of an inch away back at the point of the plow. So it does a very accurate job. I wonder if it does about as accurate a job as the modern machines do. We can walk around it a bit here. The operator, of course, sits up there, and that's the Detroit diesel we're going to start up in a few minutes. And this is the actual plow back here. It's quite shiny because we've been doing a lot of work with it. We got the rust all off it. The pipe feeds in here, goes down this tube and out the back, and as the pipe comes out here, the dirt just falls in on top of it and holds it in place, and it works very well.
That's the big drums back there to wind the cables.
Yeah, there's the cable control in there.
And that's the original cables?
Yeah, these machines were used both as a bulldozer with a blade on them, and they're also used to pull scrapers, and they needed the 2 cables to control the scraper they pulled with them.
And can you think of any repairs you've had to do over the past few years on it, or anything that
Yeah,
is
we've had a few issues, not too much really. We had some issues. The cable control at the back, it's driven with a live power shaft from the engine here, and that all had to be rebuilt a few years ago. And it's remarkably low maintenance machine. For one thing, this installing drainage pipe is the easiest job a bulldozer ever had. Undercarriages last forever. It's really an easy job for a bulldozer. So maintenance is not too bad a problem, even on an old machine.
And this thing paid a lot of bills over the years.
Oh, it bought groceries and raised kids, and yes, it bought a lot of groceries and paid a lot of bills.
So this was built completely over one winter?
Yeah, it was. He was, like I say, he was quite a blacksmith, and he'd work half the night. He was a man on a mission, and when he was on a mission, the focus was all on one thing. Okay, I'm parked in my roost up here now, and we got lots of levers and foot pedals. It's a hand clutch. That's the clutch lever there, and these levers here control the tip of the machine. You want to have it quite close to level, and there's a hydraulic cylinder that controls that. And this is the Road Ranger transmission, this lever here. And this is the bulldozer transmission. You got forward and reverse, and then 3 speeds in the transmission. That's the throttle here. And these 2 levers control your cables. And that's about it for the controls.
Talk about how you use the transmissions.
Well, when you're just going across the field from point A to point B, you put everything in high gear and it walks along pretty good. And then when we're actually plowing in pipe, we don't want to go too fast. We want to just go about like a man would travel at a slow walk. So we pick a combination of gears between the 2 transmissions that give us that, and then if it gets pulling really hard, we have to pick a lower gear so we got enough power to make the tracks go around.
So you might be using any given gear in the Road Ranger?
Yeah, typically use first gear in the bulldozer transmission and 4th or 5th gear in the Road Ranger. If it gets pulling really hard, we'll put it down into 3rd, but then at some point it loses traction and the tracks go around and around, but you don't have any forward movement, and then you're done at that point.
So you're mainly putting the bulldozer in first and then using the Road Ranger to
Yes,
adjust.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And you got an alternator up there?
Yes, it's not functional currently.
When was it last functional?
A long time ago. Or if we were using this machine more, we'd repair that. And it also drives a hydraulic pump that does different things on the machine. I see that belt's not looking too good this morning. That wouldn't hurt if the maintenance people replaced that. And I'll put that in a maintenance report for them. Well, here we are. It's a cold morning, and we're going to start this machine. It's been sitting out here all night, of course. And remember, it's not a new piece of equipment. And we're going to use a little ether to get it going. And not one to put ether in the air cleaner if I can help it. It takes a long time for the ether to get through the air cleaner, and after all, you need the ether in the firing chamber of the engine. So I've got a plug out here, and I'm going to put not a large amount of ether in there. You can damage the engine if you get too aggressive with it. And we're going to turn it over and see if it'll fire up for us. So I got my ether can here.
And how many years have you been starting the engine this way?
Yeah, 35.
Yeah, no issues yet?
No, they're wonderful engine. They're noisy and they're known for leaking a bit of oil, but they're long life engine, very dependable. And they are an engine that you can get running in cold weather. Some other makes of engines, if you weren't beside the hydro service and you could plug them in, well, it wouldn't be so good. So we're gonna give it not a lot of ether, just a little. And then we got a button down here to turn it. We're gonna hit it.